In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the financial success blueprint, and if you can do this one little known secret, you will be able to experience financial success every single time. We're talking about it today in the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel right now if you want to continue to see more content like this from me. Guys, it's Pino here from Get Wisdom. Let's talk about it. So earlier today, I was on a coaching call with some of my students and some of my clients, and somebody asked a very interesting question. They said, Rick, I feel like everything that you touch, just turns to gold. Like everything you set your hand to just works. And for some reason, you can always achieve success. How is this possible for you? And I took a second to think about it. I said, I think a lot of it has to do with the attitude and the relationship that most people have when it comes to these feelings of being overwhelmed. Right? As an entrepreneur, as a person, as a human, 100% of us go through these very normal feelings of overwhelm, of, oh my gosh, this is hard. Times are tough. There's a lot of pressure. What are we going to do? Right? I feel like those are very, very normal feelings for almost everybody alive. Right? And the difference between somebody who is successful and someone who is not successful, in my opinion, the blueprint for success is determined with your relationship with those feelings. What do I mean? Well, if you think about it, we are taught and we are grown in this culture of hard is bad, right? Oh, we don't want to, it's overwhelming, or, times are really tough. So, this is hard. And for whatever reason, our mindset when it comes to this is tough or this is hard, it's hard is bad. But I want to just start off this whole entire video by saying hard is not bad. Hard is just hard. And you can do hard things, right? When it comes to the feeling of overwhelm, one thing that I always teach my students is that as an entrepreneur starting your business journey, you are going to go through seasons where you feel overwhelmed. You feel this is really tough, or you're going to feel at times oh man, this isn't working. You're going to have all those normal feelings. But when you change your relationship with those feelings, when those feelings of overwhelm come and knock on your door, instead of you going, oh my gosh, this is so hard, I don't want to do this, oh, overwhelm is here and this is getting tough, boo-hoo, and you do what most everybody else does, which is you allow those feelings to be bigger than you, then you are going to be like everybody else. You are just going to want to run away from hard, run away from tough, run away from overwhelm, when I believe that the opposite is true. See, my relationship with overwhelm and hard and this is tough has really changed over the past handful of years. In fact, it was 2 or 3 years ago, me and my wife were on a date. And we were checking in. I was, how are you doing? She's saying, how are you doing? And she checks in, how are you feeling? How are you doing? I said, man, I'm actually pretty overwhelmed right now. We were just starting a new business. I said, I feel pretty overwhelmed right now, if I could be honest with you. And she goes, oh, really? And how are you doing with that? I said, honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I actually feel excited about it. And she's like, wait, you're feeling overwhelmed, but you're excited about feeling overwhelmed? I said, yes, because we've been through this cycle so many times, right? We've started and built so many businesses so many times. And it's at the point now where I'm like, you know what? Every time this feeling of overwhelm comes, it's just a reminder to me that if I can persist, if I can make it through the storm, if I can keep going and not allow overwhelm to be bigger than me, then overwhelm is actually my reminder that I'm about to level up. And I think when it comes to your business, when it comes to success in life, especially in business, yes, there's going to be times of feeling overwhelmed or this is tough or this is hard. But when you can change your relationship from overwhelm is scary, overwhelm is bigger than me, to overwhelm is my friend. Overwhelm is my reminder that if I can stick with this, I'm about to level up to the next level. Because think about it, every good thing in your life probably came by you overcoming some certain obstacles, by pushing through whenever you're this is tough, I don't know if it's going to work, but you made it anyway. And now here you are on the other side. So overwhelm, for me, anytime overwhelm comes knocking on the door, it's not oh my gosh, this is hard, this is scary. For me, the blueprint for success is changing your relationship with the feelings of being overwhelmed. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the training. I wanted to take a few moments real quick to invite you to join me for my upcoming Create and Sell Digital Products 5-day challenge, okay? This is a 5-day live virtual event where I invite entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs just like you to come spend 5 days with me and get live training on the 5 moves that anyone can take in order to scale and skyrocket their business and their revenue. Now, the best way to join is as a VIP because VIPs get to spend an extra hour with me every single day and ask your questions live. My most successful students have all been VIPs. That's the best way to join. Listen, you don't want to miss the upcoming Create and Sell Digital Products 5-day challenge. It's completely live. It's coming up right around the corner. Click the link down below in the description. Grab your ticket today. Now back to the training. So now anytime I get the knock on the door from this feeling of being overwhelmed, I'm like, oh, what's up? You're my friend. Like, there's the change right there. Like, when you can actually make this feeling of being overwhelmed your friend and not just like, oh, here it comes and I'm so scared and this is going to be tough. Like, no, you're my friend. Oh, you're back already. You were just here like 3 days ago and now you're back again. Wow, it means I'm going to level up again. Like, when you change the psychology, when you change your relationship with overwhelm, and instead of it being like this scary intruder, like, oh my gosh, here it comes and it's going to get hard. This isn't working. All the normal feelings, changing your psychology, changing your relationship, going, oh, this feeling of overwhelmed is just an invitation for me to level up. See, because I talk about it a lot here on the channel, I talk about it a lot with my students, and it's my conviction that if you can become who God has called you to become, then you can do what God has called you to do. And then if you can do what God's called you to do, then you can have what God has called you to have. When those feelings of overwhelm come, okay, you have a decision. You can either pray that it gets easier, or you can pray for stronger shoulders to carry a bigger load. And friends, I'm telling you this right now, like, you don't want easier. You actually want harder, because when you can grow the strength that it takes to do the hard thing, that's actually what qualifies you to be able to have the stuff. When you change your relationship with, oh my gosh, this is so tough, or this isn't working, right? Instead of saying this isn't working for me, start changing your relationship with some of these feelings and say, this isn't working for me yet, but now it's working on me. Even the Bible says all work is profitable. Why? Because it's either going to work for you or it's going to work on you. And if you can just come to grips with the idea that nothing is bigger than your God-given potential, no problem, no bill, no feeling of being overwhelmed, right? Like, no obstacle, no speed bump is bigger than what God has put on the inside of you. When you can come to the reality of, wow, my potential, my God-given potential is bigger than any problem, you start to see through a different lens. You put on a different pair of glasses and you start going, maybe these feelings of this is tough, this is hard, I feel overwhelmed, I'm discouraged. Maybe these feelings are not meant to be bigger than me. Maybe they're meant to be reminders that this is my chance to level up. Because friends, I'm telling you this right now. Over the past decade of building businesses in multiple different industries, that's what me and my wife have done. Okay, you always come up with different obstacles, different problems, different feelings of being overwhelmed. And I'm telling you this right now, 100% of the time that we've ever gone to the next level has been when we decided we are not going to shrink back, but we are going to push forward, and we are actually going to grow. We're going to level up, and we're going to learn whatever lesson we need to learn in this season so that whatever is overwhelming us right now won't overwhelm us in the future. Think about that. Like, there are things in your life right now that maybe used to, like, it was so hard in the beginning. This is so tough. But now you've done it 1,000 times and it's like no big deal. For instance, like my daughter, she's precious. She's learning how to drive right now. And it's so cool because, like, we're going driving and she's learning, right? Like, she might put on the right blinker and accidentally turn left. And it's like, this is so hard and it's so overwhelming. There's so much to remember. But think about this. all of us have been there before. Like, if you remember how interesting and overwhelming and hard it felt in the beginning of driving, but now how many of us, we like drive home on autopilot, like we're not even thinking, and all of a sudden you blink and you're like, oh my gosh, how the heck did I get home? Like, I totally just drove here on autopilot. Like, what was overwhelming or tough or hard or this is so much to you in the past because you've done it over and over and over, now it's nothing. Now it's like, this is just normal life. The same thing goes for success. The same thing goes for you and your business. The same thing goes for you leveling up in life. Is these situations, these feelings, this is so much, this is so hard, I'm overwhelmed, oh man, I'm discouraged. If you can just stick with it and continue to push through and continue to change your relationship with these feelings, and instead of seeing them as the big bad ogres who are coming and knocking on the door, this is so hard, this is so much, what are we going to do, oh my gosh, and changing the relationship to, wow, this is another reminder knocking on the door that if I can stick with this, if I can just overcome this thing and not give up, it's going to be the doorway to my destiny. I want to tell you this, man. There is no champion without a challenge. Think about that. Like, why do we love these movies where the underdog, right? Or maybe the gal or the guy, they're fighting for the role or for the prize or for the whatever it is, right? And they have to go through all these different obstacles. They have to go through all these different challenges. And, you know, you're going on the journey with them and, you know, they're climbing. Oh, something went wrong. And it was, oh man, throw a wrench in the thing. And oh man, they might give up, but they didn't give up and they kept going and they kept going until finally at the end, they finally achieved the thing. Why do we love that story? That story is in, you know, football movies. It's in, I saw it in a ballet movie that my wife and my daughter were watching. It's in all kinds of different movies all the time. And they're movies that crush at the box office. Why? Because each and every one of us love that story of, you know, that person going through adversity and then finally achieving the goal. Well, if you're feeling overwhelmed right now, friend, you are that person and this is your story. We really need to understand that the blueprint to success is not necessarily just A, B, C, D, do this, do that, do this, do that. The blueprint for success in life and in business, in anything, in God, in family, the blueprint for success is when something feels bigger than you, you need to begin to understand that nothing is bigger than your God-given potential. There is no champion without a challenge. There is no advancement without adversity, right? Like there is no destiny without difficulty. All of this is divinely connected. And honestly, I believe it's part of the way that God has set up humanity. If everything were supposed to be easy, then everything would just be easy all the time and nobody would have any strength. But it's actually those struggles, those moments of pressure that can either crush you if you allow them to be bigger than you, or they can turn you into diamonds if you understand that your potential in God is bigger than them. Okay, so the blueprint for success, my answer to my student was this. How do we see so much success in whatever we do? Well, number one, I believe that we have God's favor. But number two, on top of God's favor, anytime something feels overwhelming or big or hard, that's not a, oh my gosh, I'm so discouraged now because it's hard again. It's a reminder to level up. I'm going to remind you one more time, okay? Hard is not bad. Hard is just hard, and you can do hard things. Let me know down in the comments if you got any value from this, okay? If you're going through it in your business, whatever it is, I would be honored to serve you. Click the link down below. Join me. I have an upcoming 5-day live virtual event where I'm going to be showing you step by step exactly what you need to know. Simple to follow process where you can take my framework, take your knowledge, experience, expertise that you already have, turn them into digital products, and begin to start building online wealth so that you don't have to feel discouraged or overwhelmed or this is too much any longer, man. Let me help you. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel right now. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you in the next training.